The Dallas Mavericks have just traded Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, first-round draft pick, and 2 second-round picks to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Kyrie Irving. I personally believe this is an awful trade for them and could possibly result in the collapse of the Dallas Mavericks. However, I do also want to look at some of the possible positives to come from this trade, as my opinions are obviously not facts. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this trade. Make sure to subscribe. How is everybody doing? My name is Gray Hoops, and I hope you enjoy this video. As of now, the starting lineup will look something like Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dwight Powell, and Christian Wood, possibly swapping out Tim Hardaway for Josh Green. My biggest problem with this team on the floor is who is going to play defense on this team. Kyrie, Powell, Hardaway Jr., and Wood are all below average defenders to downright awful, as Powell was unplayable in the playoffs due to his liabilities outweighing his contributions. Luka Doncic has looked better defensively this year for sure, however his defense does get considerably worse in the fourth quarter due to the offensive load he's having to carry. Now, adding Kyrie Irving should theoretically offload Luka's usage and need to always have the ball. However, I'm not going to be surprised to see Luka's usage rating staying similar to what it is now, as even last year with Jalen Brunson and Dinwiddie on the team, Luka's usage rating last year still stayed at 37.3%, only 1% less than this year. What I would have preferred to see happen is the Mavericks wait until this offseason when they have more available picks and try to go for a two-way wing who could guard the opposing team's best player while Luka is able to facilitate and run the offensive load instead of having two ISO heavy facilitators on the team that are both somewhat bad defenders. By pulling the trigger early and trading for Kyrie Irving, the Mavericks now have little to no assets to push for a championship this year, and I really do believe this year is their make or break year potentially. They do have a few mid-level contracts and Christian Wood, as well as a young but raw prospect in Jaden Hardy that could possibly help sweeten a deal for a player on a bad contract, as well as one first round that will most likely be saved until the offseason when more are made available. However, with the trade deadline coming up, I'm not sure I see anybody being moved other than possibly Tim Hardaway Jr. And even if a move is made and the team does not fit together, we now have a disgruntled Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving who is on an expiring contract, and whatever overpaid player the team decides to trade for, putting the team into one of the worst positions league-wide. The best part is, we haven't even talked about the actual elephant in the room in Kyrie Irving. Luka Doncic is obviously in win now mode, and making this trade for Kyrie just proves it. But Kyrie Irving has played in less games than Kawhi freaking Leonard since 2019. Kawhi Leonard, who was sidelined an entire season due to an ACL injury. Kyrie Irving is known at this point to have the ultimate ego and will sit out for an entire season if he wants to. It's an actual possibility that Luka and Kyrie do not fit well together, and the Dallas Mavericks now have a star who refuses to play or a star who leaves in the offseason because the Mavericks won't give him a max contract like he wants, causing Luka to once again be disgruntled and also leaving the Mavericks with little to nothing to trade for to make their team better, possibly making Luka want out of Dallas. I do want to talk about a few positive things that could happen from this trade for the Mavericks. Kyrie Irving has played with an ISO heavy facilitating guard in James Harden before, and despite the small sample size, in the 19 games that they did play together, they went 16-3. Kyrie is also one of the most efficient scorers in the NBA, as well as one of the most talented guards in the NBA. It's entirely possible that Kyrie and Luka Doncic do fit well together, and the team's offensive capabilities outweigh their defensive faults, leading them to another deep playoff run similar to last year, and possibly a championship if everything goes right, leading Kyrie to be re-signed. And this offseason, the Mavericks will have their 2025 and 2027 picks that they can trade once the New York Knicks pick this season conveys for them, and they'll be able to improve their team next year if all goes well, and possibly make multiple deep playoff runs. All of this is really just dependent on how Kyrie and Luka fit well together, and also Kyrie's antics, but going with his past track record, I just don't see it, and I think that this is a really big mistake for the Dallas Mavericks. This trade to me seems like the ultimate high risk, high reward trade, and honestly, I don't blame the Mavericks for making this move, as they needed to do something. I just don't think that Kyrie was the right player, and I don't think that now was the right time. I personally think that they should have waited to this offseason, seen who was available, they would have more assets, and run it back next year with a better squad. What do you guys think though? Let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.